Yeah, I would. Actually, I've been spending quite a bit of time there. On Monday, I fly to Washington, and we'll be joining the governor at the White House for a summit on Asian carp. In fact, my staff have started to dub me the carp queen. Quite an honor, right? I'm hoping it doesn't come with a crown. Could be ugly. We've got some real challenges with this, and Michigan has, much to the consternation of at least one other state in the federal government, we've been pretty pushy on this issue. Quite frankly, with some of the latest studies that are coming out of the Corps of Engineers in terms of the DNA sampling, we think Asian carp are very close to entering Lake Michigan. And for those of you who really aren't familiar with the technical ramifications, down in the Chicago area, we have monkeyed with waterways pretty significantly. Over, probably not quite 100 years ago, but 90 years ago, there was quite a bit of excavation done and pump stations and lock systems put in place to actually reverse the flow of a couple inlet rivers and connect the Great Lakes to the Mississippi through the Illinois River system. Now it seems kind of odd, but Chicago at the time was dumping their sewage out in the lake very close to where their water intake was. So cholera was a very big problem in the city of Chicago. And so the sanitary canal was done, and the river was actually reversed in its flow so that they could move their sewage to the Mississippi system and drink out of the Great Lakes. In doing that, we have provided really what is today about 5 avenues for Asian carp to enter Lake Michigan on the west side. And they're all a concern. The locks are part of that concern, and there's 2 main lock systems that we really would like shut down and shut down now. But I will tell you, that won't do it alone. We've got to also put in a large barrier to separate the river system, Illinois River, from the sanitary canal that was dug, because during periods of flooding, fish can overtop that and flow from one to the other. For all of you that have worked in areas where there's very little fall in those river systems, rivers flow both ways. I mean, Saginaw Bay is a perfect example of that. I put duck hunters out in the morning, and they'd go into the marsh system, they'd come out, and they'd usually turn the wrong way going out if the winds had come around from the northeast, because the river would be flowing downstream, or upstream, I should say. And so that's exactly what happens down in Chicago area with these areas. We have some areas during flood period where fish can get through, and we need to put barriers on all of those. So Michigan has been trying to use all 3 levels of government or branches of government to address this issue. And the lawsuit is one of those, to try and force Chicago, who maintains authority under that sanitary sewer canal system, and the Corps of Engineers to close a couple of the locks and put barriers on the others, including an earthen barrier to separate those systems. I'm also testifying before Congress on Tuesday to try and put pressure on not only Michigan's congressional delegation, which quite frankly gets this issue, and has been introducing legislation to try and address it. So we're using the court system, but we're also using the executive, and the fact that the governor's called for a summit, and that summit is to take place Monday. So does that kind of give you an overview? All right. So we'll keep pushing it. It's a big issue, folks, because if we get Asian carp in there, we'll find them into our rivers and river mouths is what we're afraid of, and it will severely, negatively impact our native fish populations as well as our introduced fish populations, like salmon that we have in the Great Lakes.